Breaking news: Leafs has just been revealed, taking everyone by surprise. Our journalists have managed to obtain this valuable information. However, before we discuss the details of the news, I kindly ask you to subscribe to the channel, aiming to soon surpass the number of subscribers of Canadians. With everyone's cooperation, we aim to become the leading news channel. Undoubtedly, this Toronto Maple Leafs training camp has emerged as one of the more captivating and stimulating additions in recent years. Regrettably, the Toronto Maple Leafs find themselves compelled to make a rather perplexing decision due to NHL regulations. According to these rules, players drafted from the CHL, comprising the WHL, the OHL, or the QMJHL, are ineligible to participate in the AHL until they reach the age of 20. We take a brief break from this news broadcast to bring you a relevant announcement. We want to point out that if you want to continue receiving the latest related news via YouTube suggestions, it is imperative that you leave your support by clicking the like button on this video. Thank you for your collaboration. Now, let's continue with the news coverage. Consequently, the Leafs confront the need to dispatch two players, who possess the capability to compete in the NHL at this very moment, back to their junior teams. There, they will encounter opponents who lack the prowess to challenge or facilitate their development. This directive is ostensibly intended to retain star players within the smaller, community-based junior hockey teams for as long as feasible. However, it inadvertently penalizes a player who may possess the skill to play in the NHL at 19 but may not yet be fully prepared. Evidently, the NHL recognizes this predicament and recently negotiated an exception to prevent Seattle Kraken prospect Shane Wright from being relegated to junior if he does not secure an NHL roster spot following this fall's training camp. In a comparable predicament, Leafs prospects Easton Cowan, this year's first-round pick, and Fraser Minton, selected in the second round last year, find themselves. Both have demonstrated their NHL potential during this year's training camp, with the capacity to potentially make the Leafs roster and embark on their rookie season. Yet, for various reasons encompassing the extension of their entry-level contracts, cautious developmental strategies, the Leafs' status as cup contenders, and limited available roster slots, both players are poised to be reassigned to junior teams. This decision, despite their NHL readiness, will result in a considerable squandering of their talent as they compete against fellow junior players, the majority of whom have minimal prospects of ever gracing an NHL roster. Subjecting these talented prospects to an existence characterized by extensive travel via modest buses between small towns, performing in front of meager crowds, and competing against essentially youthful opponents, amounts to a blueprint for a year of arrested development. Considering that Cowan and Minton possess the requisite skill to thrive in the NHL but are unlikely to do so, their ideal milieu would be the AHL, where they could confront formidable opponents capable of challenging their abilities. The notion that this situation is advantageous for them to assume leadership roles on their junior teams is unsubstantiated. They had already been displaying leadership qualities, which facilitated their accelerated progress at such a young age. This circumstance appears to be driven by self-interest and is undeniably ludicrous. In my perspective, the Toronto Maple Leafs would be better served by retaining both players, forming a youthful kid line at the bottom of the roster. Unfortunately, this is scarcely a viable option, given the ill-conceived contracts of David Kampf and Ryan Reaves, which have left little room on the team. In this lamentable situation, everyone emerges as a loser. What's up, fans? How are you interpreting this news? Do you feel in agreement or do you have a dissenting perspective? Leave your analysis in the comments area. This feedback is of great importance for our beloved team to understand your opinion. Stay tuned, as I will be back with more information at any moment.